Hey, good evening, and welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. Now, your host, Ace.
Let's say Clippers Lakers, but both of those games are hard. So do it that way. Do it that way. It's Clippers Lakers. It's Clippers Lakers.
It's Clippers Lakers in a back-to-back. So, but
you want Embiid for those games,
but sometimes they'll even do that.
But you want Embiid for those games, though.
Sometimes they'll even do that.
They don't need the rest. They need to be like the old school people and play all the games.
That's bullshit. They didn't play for those games.
But if you want to,
they played more than these guys.
If you want to,
because Michael Jordan played, that doesn't mean everybody fucking played.
But if you want to be honest with it, I respect it. If it's like we're gonna rest him, on the back-to-back, then he needs to miss one of those games, not the soft game, but he's got to miss one of the back-to-backs because that makes the most sense. That's when he needs to rest. Don't rest him after the back-to-backs, and then when you go and you resting and you flying and you go play somebody who's cake. I don't think they should announce that.
They should announce their rest times, so little Johnny don't have to pay $100 and something.
Yeah, they should do that. They should announce.
But they've been trying to get them to do that for a while.
They should do that.
The NBA's been trying to get them to do that for a while, and the teams are reluctant. The teams don't want to do it. So they get fined. They do. Well, they do have an obligation because of the betting and because of the fans to notify at least 2 hours before game time.
2 hours, I need to know because I'm buying my tickets. I can't sell them back in 2 hours. You need to give me more time than that. It should be a schedule.
Well, that's the rule. The rule is 2 hours before game time. So that's the rule that they're sticking with.
But anyway, I think this is
you're
the
meat
of the conversation is who me? What happened?
No, Ace. I don't hear Ace if he's talking.
Oh, the meat of the conversation is
you hear me now?
Do not rep. Yeah, Ace is back. Okay, here we go. Right. Are we recording?
We've been recording.
We've been recording since I came in and said that they need to find these guys for just disappearing in 2 hours.
Yeah, and it's the voice of management here.
Yeah, speak the truth. That's what should happen. Give it 2 days in advance. So little Johnny can sell his tickets back. So he can buy. So he can pay for.
Who's this little Johnny you're speaking of?
Little Johnny represents America. Little Johnny with the bow haircut, that for some reason everybody always got to put in front of the camera.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I just think the East
watch the 80s movie, you'll find out.
The East is tight, and you can't. First 30 games is crucial. Nobody's resting. Everybody's going.
I would disagree with that.
First 30, nobody rests. I promise.
But Porzingis is going to be out for the first 2 months of the season.
That's not rest.
So.
He's injured. That's an injury. We're talking about rest.
Porzingis is going to rest in the first quarter.
You'd be surprised. They might rest people the entire season as they did with Kawhi and other guys. Because if you need him to be there in the playoffs, like with Embiid, he's just going to have to figure out how to play with that injury. The fact that he played during the Olympics, people were like, well, will that mess him up? So you're telling me 3 more weeks of extra basketball is going to ruin a 6-month season? I don't think so. I don't think 18 more days of him playing is going to, decide whether or not they're going to win the championship.
How did Dallas find this kicker? I mean, this is some bullshit.
They found him off the street.
The ball, bro. I mean, what?
The same place the Giants didn't find one when they fielded a team of 51 people. Decided not to activate a kicker off the practice squad that they could have to hit extra points. And so let the punter do it. And then when the punter couldn't do it, they were like, I wonder why we lost by 3 points to a team that kicked 7 field goals.
You can easily find a kicker in somebody's practice squad and, take them and elevate them and sign them to your squad. That's what Dallas did, I bet.
Yeah, they got him from the UFL, I think. Welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. We got Ace, Ant, and Malik, and also Levon.
Wow, just like, and also Levon, what is he, an accessory or something?
That's right.
He's a special guest. He ain't special no more.
Until he becomes a regular.
When on screens, he's hiding in the dark, so
Until we don't have to ask him if he's joining.
I don't have the fancy backgrounds like y'all do. What is happening right here?
Well, that's because you're operating off of an iPhone 7, so. Bengals at Panthers.
I guess it's true.
Oh, wait, would you like to recap how bad our picks were from last week? Because we can.
I know how bad our picks were last week, and that's a good thing because I wasn't tracking our picks last week, so that's a good thing. So I don't know how bad we were.
Would you like to apologize to the people?
I know I called Minnesota beating the Niners. I know that.
You did say that. And I said I took the Saints over the Eagles, which was a bad decision. I took the Packers over the Titans. Good decision. I took the Ravens. Good decision. Took the Steelers. So I went 3 for 5 out of my picks.
I think the only pick I had, the only best bet pick I had that I know hit was
the Texans.
Lions over Cardinals.
Yeah, the Texans. So I got 3 out of 5 on my best bets, and I don't even know if we talked about your best bets. I'm gonna be honest.
I did came on though.
What'd you say?
He did. He was on. He did record.
Oh, that's right.
I only did 3
on
best bets
after college
last week.
Yeah, I came on after college. I just snuck on, after the Jets was whipping that behind, unlike what the Giants are doing tonight.
Malik, did you go 0 for 3 or did you go 3-0?
In best bets?
Yeah.
I have to listen back to our episode, but I'm pretty sure I went either one. I know I definitely got one. That was the Lions game. I'm pretty sure I did.
Well, what I've learned is
that 3.
Okay, well, I will say this to the people. What I've learned is if you're the big favorite, that's never covered except twice. So that's 2 for 9 so far in the season. So it's very unlikely you're going to cover if you're favored by 6.5 or more points. What's up?
I know somebody I was supposed to be apologizing for, but I forgot who it was. I forgot my bets. If I knew my bets, I know I was supposed to be somebody in there that I was supposed to be apologizing for.
Oh, you don't have to. I mean, the dozens of people who listen to us are just out there spending their money, and maybe they're listening to this for entertainment because, they just want to hear Levon complain about how bad the Giants are.
Well, we usually get on that groove after we
last week. Right now, you don't even have no idea.
I do know that I did lose last week because of New Orleans and.
Oh yeah.
New Orleans killed me. And,
New Orleans did us no favors.
I can't remember who else. Was it Houston? I don't know. I didn't bet Houston.
I lost with the Saints. I lost with Houston.
Who Houston played against again?
Houston played against the Vikings. And homeboy went off. Yeah,
my comeback player of the year.
Comeback player of the year, who's looking like an MVP right now, Sam Darnold. And the interesting part is everybody liked him where he's been except the Jets, which they said on Pat McAfee show on ESPN.
No, that's some BS that Bill Belichick decided to say.
No, actually, that was McAfee.
Whoever.
No, Belichick did say that on McAfee show. You're right, which he's getting paid to be on. He's actually he gives good information.
Like Sam Darnold?
No, like only the Jets didn't seem to like him, which is why they got rid of him.
Which is BS. Because the thing is that when the Jets got rid of Sam Darnold, it was during Robert Sala's first year. Mm-hmm. They wanted to reset the clock. Mm-hmm. That's what it really is. They wanted to reset the clock. The same thing the Bears did, because me and you talked about this before the draft.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, really? When I was telling you guys to keep, you guys should be keeping Fields because the Jets did the same thing with Sam Darnold, and I kept on saying, it was the financial reasons why they got rid of him.
Oh yeah,
and there was nothing else. That was the only real reason.
That's why
it's the financial reason, and the fact that you have the number 2 overall pick in the draft, and there's a quarterback sitting there that looks like he's better than the guy that you've been playing with. But when you look, the NFL being called not for long is meant for many different reasons. One of which being you don't get more than a couple of years to figure your shit out. If you don't figure it out, if you're not a good player, ready for me to commit, a large amount of money to within those first couple of years, guess what? There's a draft every year. There is another draft every single year. And there's another opportunity for another guy to come in here. And depending on where we sit in the draft spot, look, I'll be honest with you. Daniel Jones is playing football right now for the New York Football Giants. But if the Giants had the second overall pick in the draft, he wouldn't be.
Right.
That's the point.
Chase Daniels.
That's very true.
He would not be. So guess what?
Every team does it.
And every team does it.
You're right. Every team does it. Every team does it. We just basically see the opposite right now. What happens, and a new coach want to get into the situation where they have to take the other person's leftovers.
Ace knows I make fun of the Caleb Williams situation all the time, but the Bears made the smartest decision they could possibly make. They had the number 1 overall pick, and there was a quarterback sitting at number 1 that was better than that was projected better than the guy that they had. He was projected better than the guy that they had, and
I said the opposite.
He was going to cost them less money at the outset because of the fact that you had to pay if Justin Fields was going to be your quarterback, you had to pay him $20 million. You had to pay him to keep him.
Yeah.
So if those two things exist, and we don't find ourselves, we don't project that we're going to be sitting at this spot next year in the number 1 place, ready to take the best quarterback, then guess what? Yeah, we got to move. We got to make a move. We got. It's simple logic. So the Sam Darnold thing, I'm not saying that the Jets didn't like him, and I'm saying
they didn't like him.
I'm saying that the Jets had a business decision to make about the quarterback position, and the guy up until that point, he hadn't shown enough to warrant the investment in him long term. And so you make the move.
I actually responded to somebody on one of those comment sections in Facebook or whatever, and I basically said basically these guys need time to mature, and that's what happened with Sam Darnold. That's what happened with Geno Smith, because even Geno Smith is actually looking better, way better than he was with the Jets, and way better than when he's even with the Giants. That he's playing right now, he actually got comfortable with himself. He knows he knows who he is. He knows what his limitations are and stuff like that. The same thing with Sam Darnold. He learned what the situation is.
Scheme, opportunity. Right. It's like if you had a job and you flipping burgers and you suck at burgers and then you go somewhere else and you better at selling cars. I mean, it's still football, but different places, different schemes. You have to do different things. Geno,
did you just compare playing football to flipping burgers and then selling cars?
It's not that.
I get what he's saying.
But how else do you explain Darnold lighting the world on fire for Minnesota? But when he was with the Jets, younger,
I think the Jets just didn't have any weapons around him like Justin Jefferson, who turned out to be all world. And then,
and defensively, I don't remember how good those Jet teams were defensively, but
they were okay. They weren't great yet, but they were getting there. The first year Saleh was there, they were actually really good on defense.
Same thing with Geno. Geno was all over the place.
Sam Darnold was gone after that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, wait. I have to have y'all anybody here? Have y'all watched a Vikings game with the exception of the Giants game? Levon, I know you saw the Giants game. Have you seen the other two, either one of the other two Vikings games?
I saw a little bit of it. I saw part of it.
I saw last week's game. Yeah, I saw the first half where he lit them up.
Okay, I watched the first half of last week. Oh no, I watched the whole last week's game, and I watched the entirety on replay. I watched the replay of the game prior to that when they played San Francisco. I mean, look, I'm not saying anything negative about Sam Darnold, but Levon's right. The defense is what's putting this team in position and putting Sam Darnold in position to have great field position and opportunities to make plays to make plays. Yeah. He had 4 touchdowns last week and 181 yards passing. That's short fields. That's short fields, right? That's not him having to push the ball down the field 10, 12, 14 play drives to try to get So yes, it's the opportunity that he has in front of him. He's got a great receiving core. And I mean, he's got a great receiver. He doesn't even have Jordan Addison. He doesn't have TJ Hawkinson there. So he's still there's room for improvement for the offense. So I'm just saying the rest of the NFL better figure their shit out before this dude really comes into form, because if he gets really comfortable and those dudes come back, we got a big problem in the NFC North and the rest of the NFC.
Let me give you the starters with Sam Darnold had his last year with the Jets. He had old ass Frank Gore as the running back. He has Jameson Crowder, Hall of Famer. He was an old ass dusty old.
Frank Gore's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but he was basically 1 foot in the grave in the Jets. But anyway, he had Jameson Crowder, Denzel Mims. So I don't even know where he's at now after the Detroit bounced his ass away. Bashard Perriman and Chris Henderson as his tight end. He had Mikhail Becton, who's basically in the Eagles' graveyard right now as his left tackle. But he's in the Eagles' graveyard. He's not starting. He's the third string somewhere. Okay. He had Alex Lewis. I don't even know where that guy's at. His left guard. Connor McGovern, who's on the Jets practice squad right now. He had Greg Van Roten. I don't know what happened to him. And George Fant as his blockers. The defense was horrible. Basically, he had Bless Austin as the starter. Bless Austin as the starter cornerback. It was not with name. It's not Sauce Gardner. He had Bless Austin. Yeah, so Sam Darnold definitely got an upgrade right now on the Minnesota roster with just one receiver alone, who's happened to be the best receiver in the game.
What I'm surprised about is that Minnesota's defense got so much better while losing to Neil Hunter, who was clearly their best pass rusher, and they didn't care because I guess they believed in who they had there.
Yeah, they just fixed the scheme without him.
And whatever defensive system they're running got better, even though he's gone. So it still worked out.
It's early still. A lot of teams start like 4-0 and fall off the face of the earth. So we'll see.
It's kind of hard to be 4-0 and not make it's kind of hard to be 4-0 and not make the playoffs, though.
Malik, look that up. I'm sure
remember Miami Dolphins last year? They beat people by 70 points and stuff like that, and they got smacked. They did make the playoffs, but they got smacked as soon as they got in there.
I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but my point is that they're gonna make the playoffs.
Wait. I think a few years ago the Panthers started out real hot. They were like 4-0, and they didn't make the playoffs.
You just want to prove me wrong? Go to ProFootballReference.com. You can check that out.
Malik is a stat guy.
Oh, Vaughn's the made-up stat guy. I got you.
I'm just a hunch guy, but Malik is a stat guy.
Hunch. Well,
I'm a hunch guy, but I remember Carolina started out hot one season.
Let's start with your hunch. Let's not talk about hunches. Let's start with your hunch on the Bengals at the Panthers.
The Denver Broncos in 2016.
Panthers are home underdogs, and they're 4.5 point home dogs. Who do you like in that game?
Who playing?
Bengals at Panthers.
We got to start with that crappy game. I thought we was not calling.
Well, these are two teams. The Bengals haven't won a game, and they're still,
they're not crappy.
No, they're not bad, but their defense is bad.
Yeah,
the defense is not playing well right now. They could improve. So,
well, the Bengals going to win this. Actually, you know what? You never know, because what's the name is the starter now? The what's the name? What was the name again?
Andy Dalton. This is a revenge game for him. So that's kind of why
this is a revenge game. He might come back.
All right.
I'll go with him. I'm going to take them.
Panthers.
And I'm going to take the Panthers, and I'm going to take the under. He threw the most yards last week, I believe.
He did.
He came back old school style.
Malik, who you got?
So it's Cincinnati on the road giving 4.5 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure about this game, and I went and watched the game Carolina versus Vegas last week. I went and watched a replay of that game, and I mean, I was impressed by what Andy Dalton was able to do to controlling that offense. And I don't know many of the players. I didn't know many of the players, the skill position players on that team, but he actually made, Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Johnson and the rest of the receiver and Adam Thielen actually, look like competent, capable wide receivers and running backs. He elevated that offense. And then I watched the Monday night game where Jaden Daniels lit up the Cincinnati Bengals in many different ways, but not just as a runner. I think it would be one thing if he just did it as a runner. Like it would be one thing if he had 112 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He threw it on them, and Andy Dalton should be able to throw it at home against the Bengals. I think the Bengals win the game. This is probably going to be a hard-fought one for them because their defense just has so many issues, and that linebacker Hendrickson has restated his desire to be traded. So that situation is happening. We already talked weeks ago about the situation with Jamar Chase and that whole contract situation happening. So I like the Panthers to cover the number.
Really?
But if they fuck me over this time, I'm not picking them again the rest of the season. Okay. That's it. This is the last time I'm picking them. I'll pick them to cover the number. I don't know that they'll win the game, but I'll pick them to cover the number. The Bengals need to win, and they'll probably be okay limping out of there with a 3-point win. So because of the hook, I'll go ahead and take the Panthers, and I'll roll with the over on this.
Andy Dalton, Adam Thielen is hurt. Andy Dalton looked amazing last week. He's super old. I don't see any reason why to pick him or the Panthers because their defense doesn't look very good. The Bengals defense looks atrocious, but they're doing a lot of talking. They're going to have to figure it out or everybody's going home. So Jamar Chase wants his money. T. Higgins is playing. I think the Bengals just straight up outscore them. And by outscoring them, they just get the final touchdown. So they win by 7. So I'm taking the Bengals, but I'm not locking this in. But I am going to be interested in watching this game. So I'm going to check this one out. Levon, do you have a decision to make for us?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think the Bengals, with their backs against the wall, they go 0-4 and lose to Carolina. This season is over.
It'll feel like it is.
They 0-4, losing the way they have to the teams they've lost to. People not getting their money, that team is going to implode. They will not be able to recover. And there's a good chance they could, but just based on that alone, they go into Carolina and they get a W.
All right, moving on to two teams that have winning records that are kind of surprising me. Got the Chiefs and the Chargers. Actually, the Chiefs not surprising. The Chargers is much more surprising. Chiefs are going to LA. They are 8-point favorites, 8.5 on DraftKings, 7.5 on FanDuel. Basically a touchdown plus. It might get up to like 9. I could maybe even see it going into 10. No team has covered. Only 2 teams have covered a spread that big all year. The Chiefs being one of them. Do you think the Chiefs can do that again, Levon?
Chiefs, Chargers. It's hard to say the Chiefs are going to lose any game because they got the refs in their back pocket. This is some of the worst officiating. I mean, somebody's got to say something. Some of the worst officiating.
Well, let me tell you, I've been saying it.
In any sport, it's absolutely disheartening to watch as a fan, let alone if you're a fan of the other team going up against them. It's like you got to overcome a great team, one of the best players in the league, and you got to wait for a horrible officiating call to go against you. So, my whole thing is okay, I'm sorry, let's third down. My whole thing is I will not go against the Chiefs, and I think it's foolish to do so no matter where they are, just for that reason alone. And yeah, that's my pick.
All right. I'm going with the Chargers to cover this. The Chiefs have shown like they're not fully there, and their defense isn't as good as it was last year. And the Chargers have been able to show that they can run. They can pretty much run on everybody. Dobbins has been looking really good, and I think the only reason why Baltimore got rid of him is because they were in win now mode, and he wasn't as proven as they had hoped. And this is a 4:00 game, so I'm assuming this is going to be the game of the year. So Chargers are going to cover, Chiefs are going to win. This is my first lock of the week. I'm going to take those 8.5 points, and I'm going to rock with that. The Chargers defense is really good. The only bad thing is that Derwin James, I believe, is fighting a suspension. So we will see. And the Chargers lost at the Steelers. They beat down Las Vegas. They beat down the Panthers, 2 teams we didn't think were great. But it's week 4. They're 2-1. The fact that the Chiefs had to get by the Falcons 22-7, like every game they've won has been by 7 or less. And the Falcons weren't expected to be a great team, but the Chargers are actually getting it done with who they have out there. And they keep getting healthier week by week. And they're committed to running the ball, so we'll see. Joe Alt is nursing a bit of an injury on their left tackle, but I expect the Chargers to cover this number. This is just too much for me, so I'm leaning on them. Yeah, Malik.
Yeah, I'm kind of rolling with you there. Divisional game, early season divisional game. I think the Chargers, they, up against Pittsburgh last week, they lost 24-3. That was a difficult game to watch for them because, to your point, they couldn't get anything rolling offensively. They couldn't get the run game going, even though Dobbins, is still leading the league in rushing. They really couldn't get things untracked. And if I'm not mistaken, Herbert got himself hurt in that game as well. So, that actually, derailed them to some degree too. But it looks like he's back. He's not out for this game. And so as a result of that, and probably, KC's, just recent dominance in the division, this is probably why this number is as high as it is. But the Chargers are at home. They typically play KC close. And that at the very least, the intention for Harbaugh is to run the football, play solid defense up front, keep the game close, muck it up a little bit, and that'll be what they're going to try to do. I do think it's interesting though, with KC just feeling like their offensive explosion is, just around the corner. They seem to be a little bit out of sync, especially with the Mahomes and Kelsey connection. I don't think it's Kelsey's old and slow. I think it's just, getting accustomed to playing with each other every year. It seems to be, there seems to be a little bit of a lull, and then boom, right? And then it just takes off. Mahomes is obviously trying to get adjusted to some new receivers. He's got Worthy. He's figuring out. Rice is coming into his own as like the number one target. He got Juju back, so like there's a lot of new things happening, and then they're breaking into this new running back. So there's a lot of moving pieces on that side of the ball. So I think KC is about a week or two away from hitting their stride offensively, and then it's going to be a problem. So this is the spot to jump on a division rival at home, getting 7 to 8 points. So yeah, anything over 7, I'll take the Chargers, and I'll take the under on that one.
All right, moving on to Titans Dolphins, two teams that are trying to make sure.
I'll take KC as well, Ace.
Oh, I thought you went already.
No, I didn't. That was Levon talking. I'll just say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, I'll say thank you to Levon.
You taking KC to cover?
You're taking KC too.
Yeah, I'm taking KC to cover.
Is that a lock or no?
Yeah, that's a lock. My first lock of the week. I always lock with the refs.
All right. You see, I love how you and Levon lean on that. The refs being sorry, but they're only sorry in one team's favor.
It is because it used to be the Patriots, but now
it's sorry all around. But it's egregious when you're the defending champs. Obviously, everybody's watching that. You would
two time.
Yeah, it's like when the boss comes to your job and you fuck up. It's like, what the fuck? The boss is here and you're fucking up? Everybody's watching the defending champs. How are you getting this shit wrong? It's like, it's just mind-boggling, man.
I really feel that right now KC is just bored right now. Yeah. So they're gonna start picking it up later on down the road.
They're bored.
They're bored. They remind me of an NBA playoff team in the 90s. They're bored.
And I'm gonna ask you a question before we jump over. I'm gonna ask you a question. I just want to see what your thought is. You watch every Jet game, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you watched every Jet loss. As a result of that, you've watched every Jet win and every Jet loss.
Right.
Has there ever been a Jet loss where you've watched every minute of every snap of every game? Has there ever been a game that you watched where you don't think that the refs made a fucked up call against your team?
It was only that KC game last year.
Has there ever been a game? So literally every Jet loss is completely legitimate, not on the refs. This is what you're saying.
We deserve that shit when we lost.
Every single Jet loss?
Yes, almost every single Jet loss that I can remember. We deserved it.
There's never been a call where you just felt like you got hosed on the call. All right.
Except for that KC game last year.
All right.
When the offensive lineman was holding like crazy, and Patrick Mahomes got to dance around and move all the way into the fourth quarter, drop back to win. Yeah.
All them games y'all lost to New England. All them games y'all lost to the Bills. All them games y'all lost to the Dolphins. All them games y'all seen y'all. I've been with you physically, been with you and watched you watch games and seen you yell and complain and whine about losing to Pittsburgh and losing to all these teams when you lost in the AFC Championship game against the Colts. And I remember distinctly you getting pissed off about not getting holding calls and they're holding my guy and all of this and all of that. But when you lose to KC, it's conspiracy. I'm just saying.
Malik dug in the crates for that one.
Can you try to not bring back my PTSD? I was trying to.
Everything else, but no, you just admit it. Everything else is legit.
Now I'm starting to remember these things. Can you please, keep quiet about these things? Those are sad times. I was crying my pillow at night. We don't need to bring that up no more.
I apologize. I apologize. If
you're not supposed to be bringing those things up.
Go to your therapist. Tell your therapist to charge me.
The Monday Night Football matchup. We're skipping around to the games, but we're only going to be doing 9 of them this week. Titans at the Dolphins. Dolphins home game. We got Will Pick Six Levis versus Skylar Thompson and probably Snoop Huntley.
No, it's called Mayonnaise Man, Condiment King.
Is
the Mayonnaise Man or the Condiment King?
He is Pick Six Levis. He's averaging a pick six every game. They've played 3 games. He's thrown 3.
As long as he takes mayonnaise with his coffee, he's the Condiment King / Mayonnaise Man.
He is. It's the most. He has 5 interceptions and 4 touchdown passes. He's going for the first 40-40 season. So we'll see if he gets there.
Can we call some real games now?
Yeah, Titans Dolphins.
That's not a real game.
The Dolphins are favored by 1 point because this game matters to both people.
How?
Well,
How are the Dolphins are favored?
They're at home, and
what's the name playing?
They're healthier. Tua's not playing. No, Tua can't play for the next. He can't come back until October. But it's Skylar Thompson. It's looking like right now, although he hasn't.
Skylar Thompson must be packing groceries. He's 1 foot in the door of being Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones making $40 million. He's doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is the paid version of Skylar Thompson.
Mm. All right.
Well, so I'm surprised Levon's let me throw his quarterback on the
He's on mute right now, but he's going to respond.
He's watching the game.
No, the game is on commercial. I was for work.
You got the Titans or the Dolphins?
I must be behind because it's still showing it. But anyway, sorry about to interrupt y'all.
Titans, Dolphins, and make a pick.
I'm going to take Manny's man in the under.
All right. He's taking pick 6, Levis. I'm going with the Dolphins. I think they're just going to be able to run all over them. They still have Tyreek Hill, who was voted the #1 player in the league. DeAndre Hopkins will not be on the Titans if they keep on losing. If they start 0-5 or 1-5 or 1-4, he will be gone. They will trade him for whatever they can get and expect him to be on a playoff team, which, looking at it right now, it may actually be the Ravens. So we don't know. We will see. They're going to try to fit people into their payroll and make that work. Levon.
The Ravens, they don't throw to nobody.
They need receivers.
They have receivers. But anyway, back to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to believe in Levis and what they're doing out there when your own coach appears not to have much confidence in what you're doing. That's not a good sign. And the Dolphins are still a well-coached team, and they got a lot of talent, even though at quarterback there's no talent there right now. But I highly have a hard time believing that they don't find a way to win that game against a Tennessee team that is giving them away. So, yeah, I picked the Dolphins in that one.
Just to know where you at, Levon, did you see that sack?
Yeah, I don't know how far behind I am, but it was a flag on Dallas at 17-12, holding on Dallas right now. So,
how many minutes you got to go?
2 minutes and 51 seconds in the third.
Oh, okay, I'm at 2 minutes right now in the third. So I'm actually way ahead of you.
You are way ahead of me, so don't spoil anything, even though you kind of just did. I'm guessing we got a sack.
No, I didn't know. I ain't saying
it's okay,
we
brother.
got a sack.
It's okay.
Anyway, I got Amazon Prime.
I'm older now, man. I'm sitting here just waiting for the inevitable field goal or gut punch touchdown to somebody.
Yeah, you still haven't even responded to my noodle comment either. Wow.
Daniel,
really?
I teed you up for that. I told you he doesn't show any anticipation or arm strength on these throws. Everybody's got to slow down. And he's 6'5", and I've seen videos of him benching and squatting in the gym. I don't get it. I truly don't. So
was he benching a toothbrush? What the hell?
Must be, bro. I mean, he cannot throw that ball ahead of anybody, and it is crazy to see. I'm like, everybody's slowing it down. Everybody. So it's like, why are we in the gym? Like, what's the point?
Malik.
Ace is looking at us like we gotta get back to the gym.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
Malik, who you got? This is interesting. But Malik, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Miami, and this is going to be my first lock. I don't like this pick. I wish this. I don't even know. I mean, is Skylar Thompson playing this week, or is Mike White going to be playing? Or
Mike White's not on the team. They got former Pro Bowl quarterback Snoop Huntley.
Not Mike White.
Tyler Huntley.
No, that's how it is. The other dude that used to be on the Jets last year that sucked. I forgot what his name was.
No, it's the former backup for the Ravens, Tyler Huntley.
No, it's not Tyler Huntley. It's somebody else.
Okay.
I think
when you see him on the field,
we'll
both be surprised.
Oh, it's Tim Boyle and Tyler Huntley. So Tim Boyle actually,
that
he was the one that
Boyle's on the practice squad.
That played. Yeah, he was a backup for the Jets and a backup for the Lions for about 2 years there. So I knew who he was when he got to you, and I told you about him then.
And I was crying all last year when he came in.
It's really just difficult to freaking bet on this game at all. Matter of fact, I can't make this a best bet. I'm going to take Miami, but I can't make this a best bet. I refuse to put any trust in the Skylar Thompson situation. Because I mean, in all honesty, like if Levon's talking about with Daniel Jones, like it feels like with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle out there, you can just throw it up, and if you got enough arm strength, they can beat single coverage and get to where they need to get to, and you can just make a play. But they didn't even show that ability against Seattle, and Seattle's defense is not the Legion of Boom. This is not one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's a solid defense, and they weren't able to move the ball. They only scored 3 points in that game. So it's really, really hard to pick Miami here. I'll just pick them in later points because they're home, and Levis seems to be allergic to success. These three games so far, but yeah, it's a point. They're home, so I'll take Miami to cover, and I'll take the under in this game. I think it's a low scoring game that doesn't really excite anyone at all. And Ant is right about calling Will Levis mayonnaise man, because Will Levis I don't know if you guys just saw it. He has a commercial with helmets.
Yeah.
So he's going all in on that. He's clearly going all in on that. When you decide, I mean, it's just like when Anthony Davis got drafted and everybody was making fun of his unibrow, and then the man actually made a whole line of shirts called the Brow. Hey, he's diving into that situation. Go right ahead and do it. So you want to call him mayonnaise man? He's perfectly fine there because he's cashing that check.
That's why I'm calling him pick six.
Hey, if the Hoctour girl can get away with it, anybody can.
She got the number. Oh Lord, it breaks my heart to say this, but she has the number 4 podcast in America right now.
Who's that?
It's existed for like 2 months.
Haley Welch. Hoctour girl.
Haley Welch.
That's what her name is.
Oh yeah. Every time I'm looking through stuff, I think I clicked on her just once to find out what all that's about. Now every time I scroll through, she's just there on my shorts. I'm like, why is she still here?
She's super popular, and they're promoting her stuff. Yeah. We're gonna go.
It's hilarious. Anyway,
we're gonna go to the biggest rivalry in the South in the NFL: Saints at Falcons. Malik, who do you got?
You got tickets for that?
I actually tried to get tickets for that game. Tickets were about $120 a piece. So I decided not for like the all the way up there seats. I decided against it because I don't really have a strong betting interest in this game. And I don't really have a game to watch before 8 o'clock on Sunday, so it was like, might as well do
2-point spread, by the way.
Yeah, I don't. If anybody that knows, and Levon, you know it, because you've lived here. I've lived here for almost 3 years now. Anybody that knows it, if you don't have to deal with Atlanta traffic, you don't deal with Atlanta traffic. You just don't do it. So there's no real reason for me to go down there and deal with that traffic and deal with all of the pain that goes with being down there in that traffic and dealing with that on a regular basis if I don't have to. So I'm not going. But I will pick the Saints in this situation to cover the number. The Saints, they've shown me something defensively. They've shown the ability defensively to make plays and to keep the game close, keep the score close. And we can obviously tell that Dennis Allen and that offense is they're going to be keen on running the football. They just ran into a situation with Philly that I don't think they were prepared for. They were not prepared to make the adjustments that needed to be made to counteract what Philly was doing, which was basically putting big bodies on the outside. So whenever the Saints tried to run that outside trap zone running play that they did against Dallas, and they were absolutely great against Dallas with, they ran into some linebackers on the other side of that with Philly, and they were stopped. If they're able to adjust to that and make some things happen on that side, then I think their defense can play well enough to keep the game close and keep it within the 2 points here. I would love to tease this up to 3 or even 3.5, because I think that's going to be the ultimate score of the game. But I could absolutely see this game ending like 20-19 and ending in the Saints' favor. So I'm going to go ahead and rock with the Saints, and I'll take the under.
All right.
Oh, also, Bijan Robinson has been nursing an injury this week. He is going to play, but I think that's going to, if he's not 100%, I think that's going to hurt the explosiveness of the Falcons offense. So
just take him in daily fantasy or check on other options. And the Falcon, at least Kirk Cousins can move. We can see that he can actually run. So that's a positive.
He can jog. Yeah, sure.
Move on.
Am I muted?
No, we can hear you perfectly clearly. Who do you got in your hometown Saints?
I think the Saints kind of played above their weight class those first 2 weeks and then came back down to earth against Philly. because I was shocked to see that game was 3-0 for like the entirety of the game. You know, it couldn't muster anything after offensive explosions against so far teams that weren't up to speed. Now that we see like the Panthers and Cowboys, it's not up to speed. Was it Panthers Cowboys the first 2 weeks? Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the Falcons are playing hard. They like their coach. They're playing well for their coach. And it's too much talent. I mean, you got a talented running back. You got talent. You tight end. You got the talent at the receiver. The only thing is they're going with old Kirk Cousins. If Michael Penix is ready to play and could do what Jaden Daniels is doing for Washington, Atlanta be set. And then, I don't know, I haven't heard anybody screaming for that down here just yet. But I guess I said all that just to say I'm going to take the Falcons in this game. I think they're better than the Saints are, at least offensively. And they just have too much talent. They should be scoring way more points than they're scoring. And, maybe it's going to take Kurt a while to unlock that. Or maybe the offensive coordinator is just not as good as they thought he was because he's new. I think it's his first job. Not his first job. Is he new? I think the guy's new. Anyway, I got the Falcons.
The OC of Atlanta?
Yeah. Robinson,
yeah,
right?
It's his first job calling plays.
Yeah.
And who you got?
I'm going to go with Levon, like Levon saying. I'm going to take the Falcons. I'm going to take the under. Falcons are supposed to be the home team, and I think I believe this is supposed to be a division rival. But anyway, this is definitely going to be a good game to see.
They absolutely hate each other. This is division rival times 2. These teams do not like each other. These cities don't like each other. It's pretty wild.
And I doubt that they're going to let Saints come in their house and beat them. Maybe they might lose down. I believe they will definitely lose down the road when they go to New Orleans. But this one they have to win this one. They want to establish something. Kirk Cousins is the veteran here. He's going to put it in their ear, to the team. Hey, we got to establish ourselves to actually do something. So I'm going to take the Falcons under. And one thing I do want to ask before you go on, Ace, I just want to ask Malik this thing. Since he's been through both situations, what's worst place to leave? What stadium is worse to leave? MetLife Stadium or the stadium in Atlanta?
Oh, MetLife. It's not even close. Like Atlanta's problem is the auto traffic. Actually, leaving the stadium and entering the stadium is actually pretty pleasant. It's just getting out because of the fact that unlike MetLife, Atlanta, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is literally like in the dead center of Metro Atlanta. So you don't like exit out into a nice highway. You exit out and there's just a row of cars that you're just in line. You just find your way into the line and then you just follow that line all the way out. Now there is one good thing about just kind of the way the traffic is set up is they do fix the, like, nothing really happens. So that's Levon. I don't know if you've been to a Falcons game recently, but the one I went to is like nothing really happens in the area when the Falcons are playing. So the police are able to kind of section off or put stuff down so to make sure that the traffic kind of funnels into the highways. But it's still a pain in the ass. But the Giants, there's no reason for MetLife Stadium to not be a simple situation, especially now with that train situation. There's no reason for MetLife to be as horrible as it is getting out of that damn stadium.
Yeah, it takes hours to leave. Even from the train station type of thing, it was taking hours. I remember.
Because New Jersey
train takes forever. The train takes forever. Everybody wants to take the damn train. It's super crowded. There's nowhere to stand. It's sweaty. It's hot. People are drunk. You got drunk people on a train going back to New York. It's horrible.
Everybody's all crushed in.
It's the worst. And try to drive from that, forget about it. So yeah, even though I got to deal with the Atlanta traffic, the experience at Ben's way better.
Yeah, I was sitting in your car when that was happening. I think it was in the past. What's the name seat? The
shotgun. You weren't driving.
Seat. No, of course I wasn't driving that shit. I would have crashed the car if I was driving. But anyway, it was like hours. We left. It was still sunlight out. By the time we got home, it was quite people's stores was closed and everything.
Damn.
Malik, is Atlanta traffic worse than New York? Because I never drove in New York like that.
Yeah,
it is worse in New York, but I think it's.
But you can go farther.
I think it's way different. It's way different if that's the best way to say it. It's like New York traffic is stop and go, but New York just doesn't have the space that Atlanta has. So Atlanta's traffic is ridiculous because of all of the, just the sheer number of cars and trucks and stuff on those highways.
But New York is stuck because you're driving through an island.
If New York had better highways, like an actual, four-lane highway system, it probably would be better. It probably would be easier to navigate.
The FDR is a fine highway.
Yeah, right.
Oh boy, I'm trying not to lose my stuff here. 3rd and 11.
All right.
I thought you were talking about the highway because that's how the FDR is.
I'm taking the Saints. I'm taking the Saints. They're going to go in there and beat them up. The Falcons got no defense. The Saints got surprised. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. The fact that Bijan is hurt gives me less faith in them. Olave is good. I don't know. Drake London's pretty good, but I just think the Saints have a better offense and they have a quick hit offense, and they figured it out with Derek Carr.
So when they if the Atlanta does win, I'm going to send you that nice meme where Kirk Cousins say you like that. You can send that to me. You can send that back to me if Atlanta gets their behinds kicked.
I'm rolling with New Orleans. I'm not locking it in, but I'm rolling with New Orleans. We're gonna move on to your favorite team, man. Broncos at the Jets, revenge game.
Before we go on, I was just gonna say I'm locking in my Atlanta part. But anyway.
Oh, Ant's locking in the Falcons. Who you got in the Broncos Jets? Jets are favored by 7.
Just so everybody know out there in the world that's listening to us, I got that blank look and stare at the ace right now. He asked me who do I got. Really? This is the revenge game that was long coming since last year when a crappy coach called out Aaron Rodgers and the OC, who used to be their former their former coach for the Denver Broncos. Calling them sucker. Basically told them trash. He doesn't belong there. Unwritten coaches rules type of things. But anyway, Aaron Rodgers said, "Don't talk about my quarterback like that. He's gonna have to prove it." And we'll actually see if last week against the Patriots was an enigma or not. But anyway, obviously, I'm going to go with the Jets.
Wow,
I'm taking the Jets, and I'm taking the over. Because we're going to whip that ass.
Jets in the over.
Yes, it's going to be a bloodbath.
I agree with you. The Jets are going to win because it's exactly 7 points. It'll probably go up to like 7.5. But I would tease this down to 6.5, and I would take the Jets. The Broncos played great last week, though. Maybe they figured out something on defense. They do have a really good corner in Patrick Surtain, but they don't have much of a pass rush, and I think Rodgers will be able to pick them apart. And he's just a better quarterback. And Bo Nix is his 4th game ever. So,
fun fact: this is the first time I actually seen as a fan that every game the Jets played so far, they actually got it to 21 points.
It is pretty amazing that their defense, that offense, has been so bad for so long. But it's really good now, so you should be happy. And
I'm doing backflips over here for a fat person. Yeah.
I don't
know about my neighbors downstairs. They might be hitting the broom upstairs. Because I keep doing those things. But I'm excited.
The fact that Rodgers isn't celebrating the fact that they get up by like a touchdown is kind of encouraging because it's like, no, it's going to take a little bit more than that. Let's actually put some more points on the board. But I'm rolling with the Jets too, and I'm not going to lock them in. Go ahead, Malik.
Oh, I am. That's my
Ant's
third lock.
locking them in. That's Ant's third lock. Go ahead, Malik.
I was waiting for Ant to lock that in. I'm locking in the Jets too. I like what I saw last week, mostly because watching, Aaron Rodgers, run the offense. The biggest problem with the Jets was the Jets didn't seem like, Zach Wilson never seemed in any real command of the offense. He just never seemed to be in any real command of the offense. He never seemed to really be comfortable or in control or anything as it pertains to the running the offensive system there. And so just watching Aaron Rodgers, not so much pick apart, because he did pick apart the Patriots defense, and the Patriots don't have a bad defense. We already know that the Patriots defense is actually the best part of their team. They don't have a bad defense, but he was able to just methodically, bring the ball down the field, rely on his guys to make plays, put the ball in the right positions, put the ball on the back shoulder when it needed to be put. So he's going to make, you definitely know that he is not going to put the Jets in situations that their talent won't be able to get them out of. And so if we're looking at it from that perspective, we're looking at it from that standpoint, we just know that the Jets are not going to be in a situation where they're going to muck up a game and just, make a big mistake and lose this type of game. I have all confidence in the Jets being able to win this game and Rodgers being able to take command of this. I vaguely remember that the Jets and the Broncos played last season. I thought that the revenge game was last year because the Jets won that game with Zach Wilson, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that don't count. That don't
in
count.
Denver. Okay.
That was just a prelude to this year.
So you think the Jets really just want to murder the Broncos?
Rare double revenge.
Yeah. If you saw DeMarcus Covington's face last week, that's the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. He had a blank stare. He had nothing better to do. I can't wait to see how the defensive coordinator is going to be this week on the Broncos. That blank stare, what's going to happen?
Denver looked good last week. I did watch some pieces of the game against Tampa Bay that they won, and I was actually really surprised. That was probably the most surprising game of the slate, of the week 3 slate to me. Last week was them going into Toronto and into Tampa Bay and winning that game after what I saw, after how well I saw Tampa play both in weeks 1 and week 2. So
that was Todd Bowles. That don't count.
I think that was a bit of an aberration. I think Denver is, a 5-win team this year, and this ain't gonna be one of them. So going to the Jets, I absolutely think the Jets are gonna take care of business here, and I'm locking this in.
Right. Speaking of, I can't believe we don't have that on here. That's 2-1 teams, but we're moving on to the Steelers and the Colts. Colts are going into Indianapolis. They're favored by 2 points. They're 3-0, looking like they're about to be 4-0. The Colts stole a win over the Bears. I know exactly how they did it, and I'm going to pick this one. The Steelers are my second lock of the week. They're going to beat the brakes off of the Colts. They have a clear identity. They know exactly how they're doing, and Justin Fields is looking more and more comfortable each week. I'm glad he's getting a chance to play with a franchise that has a great defense and a good offensive line. And the coaches are like, yeah, you're healthy, so we're going to keep going with you. When Russ gets healthy, he'll probably give him a shot to get the starting job back. So we'll see, but looks like the Steelers are going to be winning the AFC North unless something crazy happens towards the end because of how bad the Ravens started. So yeah, Steelers fans should be happy because it's going to be another easy win for y'all. 21-10, maybe even just a 9-6 game. Who knows? But that'll still cover the spread. Lock in the Steelers. Levon, who you got?
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. This will be my first lock of the week. Mike Tomlin's not going to lose to a rookie quarterback. Well, it's not even a rookie, but he plays like one. Richardson is young, and they play a lot like Pittsburgh does, which is run game first, rely on that, play some defense, and Pittsburgh is better with a better defense. And they should roll. They should roll. I don't know if they're going to score 21 points. I'd say it's more of a 17-6 type game. So, yeah.
All right. Malik, who you got?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with both of you guys, and I'm locking this in as well. Pittsburgh's better at doing what Indy does. And that's pretty much the long and the short of it. I if this was maybe 2 years from now, this might be a higher scoring game. Richardson might be playing better and better control of the offense. But right now, given the situation, he's likely to throw one to you. He's likely to put his team in bad down and distance situations, and Pittsburgh loves to take advantage of those opportunities. So I think Tomlin and that defense is going to have a good time. And I mean, to Ace's point, a good defense and a good offensive line, a good running game, and you just ask Justin Fields to just play football, just go out there and play football and don't make mistakes, and he's doing that. He's not lighting the scoreboards up. He's not, putting up big games, but he doesn't have to because the defense is got his back, and he doesn't have to worry about having to go out there and score 25, 27, 30 points a game. He can, safely run the offense, score 17 and get out of there with a dub. So I think they're going to do that again. One thing about Indianapolis is probably their best bet. There's obviously their running back, Jonathan Taylor. He looks really good. He looks like he's ready to take over his rushing title crown again. He looks fully healthy. And that'll bode well for them. So I think that'll keep the game close, but this number is small, 1.5. So if you feel like Pittsburgh is going to win the game, you just take Pittsburgh, and I'll lock this in as well. Pittsburgh in the under.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor through 3 games, 261 yards, but he's averaging 5.1 a carry. The only person doing better is J.K. Dobbins, but that's because the first 2 games he just crushed it. He's got 300 yards in 3 games, but last week he only had 44 yards against the Steelers. So we will see. Pittsburgh's not at home, but playing in the dome helps. What's up, man? Go ahead.
Who did Indianapolis play last week?
Indianapolis played Chicago, I believe.
No, they played Houston. Oh, sorry. Indianapolis? They played
Indianapolis
Chicago.
played the Bears at home.
Yeah,
16-21.
Bears and they beat them.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's the home team?
The Colts.
The Colts.
All right, I'm still thinking about. I'm gonna go with you guys. I'm gonna stick with the Steelers. Thomas is basically a Hall of Fame coach. I'm getting back on the train. I think he's gonna keep the streak alive as far as being over 500. Yeah, I'm gonna hop back on the train, even though I was getting on the last couple of weeks before that. But anyway,
you were.
Thomas is better than Eberflus as a coach. I think Thomas is gonna definitely quite be the deciding factor in this. He knows how to use fields, unlike some other coaches. And I'm gonna take the Steelers, and this is gonna be my 4th lock of the week.
All right, we are gonna
under. Sorry,
I think those are Monday Night Football games, so that's why I left them to the end. But we are going back to the Vikings and the Packers. Vikings at the Packers, divisional game, early game, 2.5 points spread across the board. Over under, I'm not really that concerned with, so I'm not taking that, but it's 43.5, which is about average. I'm gonna go first on this one. I think the Packers are gonna be able to figure out Sam Darnold. I think I still don't know if the most important thing is, have they gotten what's his name cleared, homeboy cleared to play. They beat the brakes off of Tennessee. Yeah, Malik Willis is still listed at the starter. I don't know if Love has even gotten cleared to play, but he's been able to figure out the defense, and him having more reps and 2 full weeks to practice and play. And so he got his revenge game against Tennessee, which he said wasn't, because he probably just needed to pick up his clothes. And he said, listen, if they didn't draft me, I wouldn't be in this league. So I respect that. But I just don't believe in Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. Call me a hater if you want. I've seen this man at so many stops, and he just is not that. He's never put together a full great season of football. Aaron Jones is pretty good. He also used to be on Green Bay. They let him go. He went to a division rival. Him and Josh Jacobs, I would call that a push. Sam Darnold and Malik Willis, I'd call a push. But Justin Jefferson is the best receiver on the field. Although Jordan Addison, I think, is still questionable. Sam Darnold had a small injury, but he's playing through it. Malik Willis is a little bit more mobile, so we'll see what he can do. They both have really good offensive coordinators. So because the Packers are at home, they're playing outside. That's not something that the Vikings usually get to do, is play on grass. I'm going with the Packers, and I'm going to take, I'll lay those 2.5 points. If they win this game, they're going to win it by a field goal or more. I'm going to lock that in for my 3rd lock of the week. Go ahead, Malik.
I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to take Minnesota, and I'm going to take those 2.5 points. Unlike you, Ace, I do believe in Sam Darnold. I know I talked about him a little bit earlier. I believe, to the degree that I believe that Sam Darnold is a good enough player to take advantage of the opportunities that he has, which is he's got a good solid defense, and he's got a good solid running game, and he's got one of the best receivers in the world. And so he understands that, and he's going to take advantage of those opportunities. He's going to make things happen from that perspective. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I think that's the route that the Vikings take. And if you're going to give me 2.5 points for a 3-0 team, I'll go ahead and take it in a divisional game. The other thing, obviously, this is a revenge game. Aaron Jones is the running back for the Minnesota Vikings. He's going back to Green Bay, and Green Bay has a middle of the road defense. They're giving up like 4.5 yards a carry, so expect early and often for Minnesota to lean on Aaron Jones, who's got familiarity with the system, familiarity with that defense, familiarity with the field, and can go out there and make some plays happen. Expect him to go out there and try to put on a show against his former team. And if he does, and he's able to, maintain that 4.5 yards per carry average that the Packers are giving up, that puts Green Bay in 3rd and short situations. That puts the Vikings in 3rd and short situations, and they can make some plays happen. And you don't put Sam Darnold in position to have to, convert a bunch of 3rd and longs and fourth downs where I think him and just about any quarterback will show some warts from that standpoint. So I think the Vikings keep the game close. I don't know that they win it, but I definitely would love to carry them with the 2.5 and take that. So not locking it in, but definitely feel like it's a close enough game. And I actually, if Jordan Love is healthy and able to play, I actually wouldn't be surprised if they sat him, because against this defense,
I think if he can play, he will play. So that's
I believe so too. I believe so too, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did decide to sit him, because against this defense and the type of pressure that that Brian Flores brings with the blitz packages, they're going to try to make him run. They're going to test that knee out as much as possible to try to make him run and make him make him jittery back there in the backfield and try to force mistakes, from a guy who's coming off of a knee injury. So I wouldn't be surprised if even if he shows the slightest, hitch in his step, that you just sit him out this game, let Malik Willis play, and then come back next week. So I'll take the Vikings. Not going to lock it in, but I'll take the Vikings and the over.
And who you got?
Yeah, Malik said everything I was going to say, but he said it better than I would ever would. So I'm taking the Vikings. I'm taking the over. I'm locking this as my 5th lock. And then Malik Willis is going to be the one starting. He's going to play it right through, and he's going to be the sacrificial lamb.
All right,
to that defense.
Let's see. This is hard to do right now. Okay. So I don't know if Jordan Love is back, but I'm guessing Ant said Malik Willis. So I'm guessing Love is not going to play. But I heard he was going to be game time up to the very last minute decision. And they have managed to go 2-0 without him. And that is extremely impressive. And I like Green Bay's team. And I think Minnesota, as good as that defense is playing, they are frauds. And this is not sustainable. So I'm going to go with Green Bay. I'm going to go with Green Bay in that game. And I'm sorry, but yeah, this Giant game has got my full attention. So I apologize.
No worries.
As it should. The Giants are close.
They're going to lose, but don't worry about it.
They don't.
Probably right.
I hope they don't. I hope they win this game.
Wow.
Because
shut up, Malik.
I love hearing people talk about Dallas the next week. And my next door neighbor is a huge Cowboys fan. So
you should live in Texas.
Friday.
You should see how it is in Texas when they lose or when they win.
Who's getting more love, Houston? Or are the Texans getting more love finally in Texas than them? Since
no, it doesn't happen. No,
they have to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they have to win the Super Bowl 3 times in a row.
They would. No.
You'll never surpass the Cowboys in Texas.
Oh yeah,
They're the Brooklyn Nets, man.
You can get that. They're in a different city. They're in a different city. Come on, man.
No. It's all right. The whole Texas is basically
Houston
Dallas.
Is the second son by far in that.
And Houston's a bigger city too, and a cooler place to be.
That's great.
Rams, Bears. I'm gonna take the lead on this one since I'm the resident Bears homer. Rams are playing outside. It's going to be cold. Oh, I'm very sure about that. The Rams still have all of their receivers injured. Kyron Williams is a pretty good runner. The Bears didn't get, crushed by the run last week. Although Jonathan Taylor, kind of did what he wanted to do. He had 110 yards and 2 TDs. We were not able to run the ball that well, but Caleb Williams had 363 yards, 2 TDs, 2 picks. The Rams defense is not very good. The Lions were able to put up points on them. The Bears should be able to put up points on them. And it's going to be nice because Caleb Williams kind of modeled his game after the man over there in LA. I kind of forget his name, but, here to go.
Man? You would.
Huh? I would, because it's not that important. Matt Stafford, who they said was going to be the coldest person ever since he was a freshman at Georgia. And we saw what he did with that. And his backup is the guy who won at Georgia. So, I don't know. Just saying. I'm taking the Bears. This is my 3rd or 4th lock of the week. 3rd.
You're
right?
4th.
I'm only 4th. It's my 4th lock of the week. So I'm locking in the Bears. They have the better defense, and I think they'll have the better offense. And they finally taken the ball out of DeAndre Swift's hands, and I think he'll just be handling pass catching stuff. He's not earning his money right now. So they're going to be going with Roshan Johnson and giving him some more carries. He had 11 carries. He had like 30, 35 yards. So he's a bigger back. So they got to figure out the run game. The offensive line is starting to get better each week. So I think the fact that the coach has, some faith in them, he'll figure it out. Eberflus is not the best coach, but I don't think they're going to fire him just yet because he's getting that defense going. They gave him some playmakers, and they're making it work. And they have some really good linebackers. Monday. Yeah, okay. Worry about the Jets. Worry about the Jets doing something. But if the Bears do what I think they can do and they win their 10, they go 10-7 this year. It's got to start here. So I'm locking in the Bears, and I'm keeping the faith on this one. Go ahead, Malik.
I picked the Rams last week against San Francisco.
They played terrible.
Out to be right on that, huh?
Well, they got lucky at the end. That was wild. I can't believe San Francisco.
They were winning that game pretty much the entire. Actually,
San Francisco was winning the game the whole time. San
Francisco was winning the game. They came all the way back, and they won that game. They won that game in the end. But I did pick them in that game last week. The funny thing is like aside from those two receivers that you mentioned, Kupp and Nakua being out, the rest of the team is relatively healthy for the Rams, and the Bears are nursing a lot of injuries on their roster. But it would just be Caleb Williams' luck to go up against the Rams team that's missing and Matt Stafford that's missing a bunch of their players, and this is going to be a really low scoring game. And because of that, I'm going to take the Rams to cover the number. That's what I like here. That's what I'm betting on here. Not locking it in, but that's what I'm thinking happens in this one. I think this is going to be a relatively low scoring game because Caleb Williams still hasn't shown. He's been decent. He's been decent. He hasn't been taking care of the ball as much. He's 5 turnovers already in his first 3 games, which is not good. If he can keep the turnovers down, I think the Bears can win this game. But the fact that I told you, Ace, I told you about DeAndre Swift as well. I told you I didn't, DeAndre Swift was on my team for 3 years. I know exactly what the guy is. He ain't that guy. He ain't that dude, and he's showing it now in Chicago. So the fact that they haven't been able to muster up a really great running game to support Caleb Williams has been problematic. If they can do that with Roschon Johnson, then I think I think the Bears will take off there because I think that'll be what Caleb Williams needs to get the time and the opportunities to actually make some plays and get the ball down the field and not try to play so much hero style ball, which is what he's been doing a lot of. He's been attempting a lot of it, since he's been in Chicago. A lot of that USC stuff that he was able to do in USC cannot do that shit in the NFL. It was not working. So he's got to play within himself and play smart football. And on the other side of the field, he's going to have a quarterback that he's going to be able to learn that from because Matt Stafford had to learn that in Detroit. And he finally was able to get his shit together when he got to LA and put that together for them to win a Super Bowl over there. So long story short, I'm going to take Chicago to win the game, but I think that the Rams cover the number. 3 points I think it's a low scoring game that's won right at the end. So I'll go ahead and take the Rams and I'll take the under, but I'm not locking this one in.
And who you got?
I want to take the Bears. I want to take the under in this one. I think they might can pull it off as far as betting concern is going to go. I don't know how the game's going to really go. I don't know really what Caleb Williams is going to do. He does have that little college in him, quite as far as still being the extra, doing all the extra stuff. Seen it before on my team a couple of times. Seen it before on other teams. Got to shake that. You got to shake that stuff off. It's not a video game. It's not college. But anyway, I want to take Chicago to what's the name of the under in this one? And why is Levon the biggest person on our screen now?
Levon, who do you got? Bears or Rams? Unmute yourself.
Why am I the biggest person, man? What did I do?
I just want to make sure you're okay in this very key moment of the game. So that's why we're putting you on the spotlight here.
Don't put me on the spotlight.
Don't worry. Nobody's seen the video part. No one's seen the video part yet until we start making YouTube shorts.
I like the Bears in this one because, like Ace said, a lot of the Rams receivers are injured. And the Bears play really good defense, even though Caleb is on schedule for what he's doing for rookie quarterbacks. And their offense at times looks like it's sputtering. They do have enough weapons where if it starts to click, and it'll probably click off and on all season, they should be fine. But I think in this game, I just like the matchup, especially because the Rams are limping, and the Rams are just old, and they sold their soul for a Super Bowl. So it's gonna be hard for me to pick them against anybody. So let me get the Bears and take no spotlight while I.
A horrible moment just happened.
Oh, so sad.
Don't worry.
That's terrible.
Don't worry.
He's muted himself, folks. It's okay.
I can't say anything because my prime is lagging because of the weather. But what happened?
That's
Just
true.
tell me. Just tell me what happened.
No, Michael Parsons.
Michael
Parsons is getting helped off the field.
Yeah.
And what is? I don't care. I mean, I hope he's healthy. God bless him. But I don't say something terrible just happened. What?
It was terrible for my fantasy team. I mean,
Oh Lord. Anthony,
my prime is frozen. The last thing I saw was we converted a 4th and 1. That's the last.
You see what Ant's caring about? He's like, my fantasy team.
What is happening?
I feel for the man, but I'm upset now that I started him for my fantasy team and he got me 2 points.
Why is my screen
How
so
dare
big?
you, Anthony?
4th and 6. The Giants have the ball. 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
4th and 6.
Left.
We are moving on
3 minutes
to
and 30 seconds on the
4th and
45. 6. Go ahead.
Did you say 4th and 6?
And in college football news, Army is giving Temple to beat him down in Temple. In Philadelphia.
No, you're not muted. It's just that.
No, you're not. You are muted now. But yeah, you can stay muted. And if you listen to me the past 4 weeks, all I've been telling you is that Temple is the worst college football team in the country, which very may still be true. They're probably going to lose every single game they play in the American, even though they've won 1 game. So they're not going to be completely defeated. But the United States Army Academy is giving them the business. Expect that to happen when they have to play Navy as well. So hope you bet on them and win some money tonight. Moving on to the Bills at the Ravens, Sunday Night Football. I think that's going to be the best game of the week. Baltimore is desperate for a win. If they beat the Bills, they can probably show like they still have some life in the AFC, which is going to be the tougher conference this year by far because they have more teams that are just putting up points. The Bills look unstoppable so far through the first 3 weeks. They did beat the Jags, who are their best test. I guess they're going to have to show themselves against Kansas City in the regular season and probably even the postseason unless something shocking happens. I'm assuming they're going to get home field because they're starting out red hot, and I don't see any, with all the people changing over on their defense, I thought that they would have a lot of issues with that, but they've been able to survive it. So I guess the Bills haven't figured out, but they're going on the road to the Ravens.
Oh, no.
Derrick Henry's a good rusher. Baltimore is favored by 2.5. I can't believe there's even a favorite as opposed to this just being a pick 'em. But I'm locking in the Ravens. As you know, I'm kind of on the Ravens bandwagon. It's my secondary team in the AFC, so I'm riding with the Ravens, and I'm going to lock this in for my 5th lock of the week. So
bandwagon fan.
That's right. Give me the Ravens, and I just expect them to run the ball and, use both of their tight ends and change up the offense a little bit. Greg Roman's going to have to come with something and change it up.
Greg Roman's at the OC.
Oh, I'm sorry. Todd Monken. Whoever the OC
that's why they stopped Roden.
Whoever the OC is with the Bills is kind of just spreading the ball around, and maybe that's why they got rid of Diggs. So they realized we just need fast receivers and we don't need any one star. So it's just become the Josh Allen show. And Roquan Smith is nursing an injury, and he was limited in practice today. But the good news is the Ravens just picked up another pass rusher, so we will see if that makes a difference for them. They need to get a little bit better on the rush, so we'll see how that goes. But Kyle Hamilton is one of the greatest safeties in the league, and he makes a huge difference for them. So expect that to have an effect on the Ravens, on the Bills receivers. Go ahead, Malik.
Yeah, we're synced up here. It's Baltimore on the over. Locking this in as well. I like what I've seen from the Bills thus far this season. They've looked really good. And you want to talk about the level of competition that they've played. That's fine. Arizona, everybody was saying Arizona was really good at the time that they played them. They played Arizona close. They were able to come back against Arizona in that first game. Then they played a Miami team that was whole for the vast majority of that game, and they completely blew the doors off of those guys. And then that game against Jacksonville, where Jacksonville is just not a good team at this point in the season. So you want to say what you want about the level of competition that they played. This is definitely going to be a step up in terms of their competition level. So we'll see what they have. But this feels like a bit of a schedule loss. The Ravens are finally seeming to come into their own. Derrick Henry is finally, catching stride. Lamar Jackson is still doing his thing, and the Bills, coming off of their 3-0 This is just like, them walking into a buzzsaw type of situation, but they'll definitely, I don't think it's going to have any impact on their ability to win in the playoffs if they do wind up seeing the Ravens again. But because Josh Allen is that dude. But Baltimore's defense is really good, and they're going to run the football, keep the game tight. That's how they like to play. And so I just believe that they're going to be able to run things out against the Bills here. So I'll take the Ravens as well, and I'm locking this one in, Ravens in the over.
And who do you got?
If I had a 6 lock, so I'll be putting on this game. I'm taking the Bills and I'm taking the over. I think this is going to be a buzzsaw the other kind of way, and it's using those type of words. Right now, the Bills are the hot team right now, and I think Josh Allen is just going to be going off on this thing. So it's going to be kind of hard to stop them. I really don't like how the Ravens have been playing the last couple of weeks. In my opinion, I think they need to, start spreading the ball a little bit more. And as far as passing, they seem like they're locked in on one person, in my opinion, and mostly trying to run the ball. It was kind of good for Derrick Henry. It was kind of good for what's the name? But anyway, I'm instead of me mumbling more words, just gonna use this as my 6 lock, my mythical lock of the week, and I'm taking the Bills on this one.
Levon, what do you have to say for your sorry team, and who do you think is going to win out of the Bills or the Ravens?
I think. Well, Buffalo is playing really good football. Josh Allen is lighting it up. So far this season, Baltimore. I want to say this real quick about Lamar Jackson. He has the right mentality. He has a great mentality as a player, the kind of mentality you want in your leader. I just don't think his talent matches it at the quarterback position. And as long as that's the case, Baltimore is always going to fall short. Because when they need him to make quarterback plays, throw the ball accurately, timely, they just suffer in that regard. And their greatest strength is their running game. And if they get into a shootout where he has to do that, like with Josh and Patrick Mahomes, that's when they lose. So I'd have to take Buffalo in this matchup. And another thing is that they can't seem to hold on to any lead in the fourth quarter. No lead is safe with them. It's just a very perplexing squad. They should be better than what they are. But I like the Bills in this game. And my Giants are sorry. I didn't see what happened, but I'm guessing we went for it and didn't get it.
They threw an incomplete pass on 4th and 6.
That's why he's not the guy.
On the left.
He cannot come through.
Stop spoiling for the man. Let him
he's not the guy. He's a rookie. You talking about Neighbors? You talking about Jones?
Talking about Jones.
I didn't see the play, but I just know Daniel never, ever comes through when it's money time.
I'll say this, Levon, because you didn't see it, but you'll probably see it on replays. It was a damn good throw. That I think that
Diggs defended it well.
9 times out of 10, Neighbors catches that ball. It was a very difficult catch. Neighbors was covered by Trayvon Diggs like extremely closely, and he had his hands all over the guy. I mean, it wasn't an interference, I don't think, but he didn't interfere with him. But it was just a really, really difficult catch to make, and he's probably kicking himself for not making the catch. But I don't think that throw was on. That was probably the best throw I've seen Jones make in a very long time.
It's more than that, man. It's more than that.
I'm just going off of what you were talking about with that specific play.
I didn't see the play.
I know you didn't see the play. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you the context for that play.
I didn't see the play. The throw before that, scrambling out, rolling out, throwing it to Slayton out of bounds. And it's just like you gotta be able to come through in those moments some of the time. You doesn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Before I forget, I just want to add one more thing. For the Bills game, watch out for number 10 in the backfield. He was lighting it up last week. I forgot the dude's name.
Number 10 in the backfield.
You'll see.
I think you're talking about Moss.
No, wait, on the Bills. I forgot
the running back.
No, he's
not
a running
the running back's number. You don't mean 4, kid's brother.
Khalil Shakir?
Oh, okay.
I think that's him.
Khalil Shakir.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was lighting it up.
Moving on to Monday Night Football, we got the Seahawks at the Lions.
I'm putting myself on mute.
We already talked about the other one, but we're gonna go with our resident Lions homer here, Malik Nicholas. Malik.
I'm going to pick whatever Malik picks and call it my 7th magical lock of the week and closing it out.
Wow. Thank you, man.
I mean,
appreciate that.
I wouldn't say do that. Look,
on ABC,
I've been right on the Lions for 3 straight weeks.
You
what's the spread here? Is it 3, right?
3.5. Consensus 3.
Yeah, I've been right on the Lions all season.
Wait, consensus far. 4 points.
The Seahawks are 3-0. They're an undefeated team coming into Detroit. The Lions are 2-1. The Lions' victories against the Rams and the Cardinals.
Seahawks are underdogs, by the way.
And their loss against Tampa. Seattle, thus far, they've played, if I'm not mistaken, they have played the Denver Broncos, the New England Patriots,
and the Miami Dolphins
without Tua.
Correct.
So, needless to say, this is the most difficult matchup that they've had that they're going to have thus far this season, and I think that there's a lot to be said for how well. I think you guys have talked about how well Geno Smith has played, how well the offense has been running. They've been pretty good from that standpoint. So I do think this is a good game. I do think this is a relatively close game, especially early on in the matchup. I do think if there's a 1.5 or a 2-point 2-point spread at halftime, I think that I would like those numbers. I am a little worried about Detroit's inability to maintain a 4-quarter offense right now. They seem to be really able to be really hot for small stretches, but not be able to play the entire game. That said, their defense has been really good. Defense has held all 3 opponents thus far under 20 points up until this point. So, and that says something about, especially when you think about a Cardinals team that was, scoring lights out for the first 2 weeks of the season. So all that said, I think this is a closer game than people, especially a lower scoring game than people are giving it credit for. And I think that the Lions are able to win this game on Monday night. They're introducing their black uniforms. They're going to be, they're going to be trying to put on a show here. And this is a bit of a revenge game for the Lions in general, because the last 2 times we've played Seattle at home, they've beaten us. And we are very, very aware of this situation. So this is a team that I think the Dan Campbell and the coaching staff really do want to take care of and get a win and give them their first loss of the season, and have the Lions win their 3rd game of the season going into the Week 5 bye. So I'll take the Lions, and I'm locking this as my 4th lock of the week. I think we'll win by more than 3 points in this one. So take the Lions, and I'll take the over.
And who do you got?
The Giants need to petition to have Archie Manning's eligibility for next year in the draft, because Daniel Jones sucks. I'm just looking at this right here. Damn, he's trash. Quinn Ewers.
No.
Wow, this dude's trash.
You don't want. He probably threw a pick.
So you're taking Detroit, I take it.
Oh yeah, I already said I'm taking Detroit.
Levon, who you got?
Game's over on my end.
I'll take Detroit. I don't even know what game y'all talking about. I'm sorry, man.
Detroit Seahawks.
I told
you
it was going to be useless.
He's useless.
I hung in as much as I could.
You heard it from him, folks.
Trash.
You heard it from Levon, folks. Right, he said it himself. He's useless. So if you listen to any of his picks this week, that's on you.
No, he said Daniel Jones is useless. Danny Dimes is useless.
That's anybody does that, and not just Daniel Jones. Hail Mary to one guy, but he does not move the needle.
I like the guy. He can't throw Hail Marys and depend on those in the pros.
I like that. I like that.
He's not Eli Manning.
He's not.
Oh,
Eli
Lord.
was
Jesus Christ. No, mute yourself. We're not doing this. All right. I'm going with the Seahawks. Zach Charbonnet has been a good fill-in back. Everybody's healthy for the Seahawks outside of their tight ends. Farrell Brown's hurt. Their Noah Fant's hurt. So they're on the 3rd string that they drafted this year out of Michigan. And you know what he can do? He can block, which should help, because he's going to be chipping a lot on Aiden Hutchinson, because they're going to have to stop him if they want to have a chance. Because the one thing Geno Smith can't deal with is pressure. And I think the Seahawks defensive line is good, and I think it's actually going to be a low-scoring game. The over-under in this game is 46.5. So I'm leaning towards the under. I expect it to be a very physical game, because that's the Seahawks defensive mentality, and that's kind of how they operate. But I'm going with the Seahawks. I'm going to take those 4 points. Every book has it at plus 4 for the Seattle, because they're going on the road. They're playing in the dome, so weather won't be a factor. So I'm leaning on Seattle. Seattle. Go Hawks.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I I don't like I like going against former Jets players. I like Geno Smith and all that, but Lions gonna win that.
If you took the Giants, I'd like to point out the Giants covered the spread.
They did 4.5. The spread was 4.5. They won. They lost by no.
Oh, plus 5.5.
The Cowboys covered the spread.
No, plus 5.5. They were at BetMGM.
It was 4.5 yesterday.
Let me check my Yahoo because I think I did
bet it yesterday.
If you bet it yesterday, then you won with the Cowboys. If you bet it today,
Cowboys. If you bet it today, you won.
Daniel, God.
Okay, I did bet the Giants. Told you. Anyway, I did switch that to the Cowboys when the betting line did change.
Beautiful. I'm gonna get my college picks in, so if y'all could pipe down for a little bit, I'd appreciate that.
Go ahead.
You can just record that later on,
All right. Rutgers minus 2.5 at home. Take Rutgers to beat up on Washington. They're a much more physical team, and Washington wasn't able to handle it. They lost a lot of players, and a lot of players transferred and left and went to Alabama. Oklahoma State versus Kansas State. Oklahoma State just got owned by BYU. The fan that was cheering for Kansas State is threatening to put a burrito up his bum, so to speak. He's trying to get that sponsored by Taco Bell. I don't know how that's going to go for him, but I'm assuming not well. So I'm going with Oklahoma State. There's a lot of pressure on them.
No Diddy.
Not just for them or their fans. Stop that. BYU was going into Baylor. Baylor somehow is a 3.5 point favorite. I don't understand that. Unless somebody at BYU is hurt, I don't get that. Baylor should be getting points. This line doesn't make any sense. Play BYU, the number 22 in the country, and they look really good. Purdue might be the worst team in the country. They're playing Nebraska. They're at home. Purdue's 1-2. I say that about Purdue because Purdue gave up 66 points to Notre Dame at home. 66 points. The only game they've won against Indiana State, I don't know what conference they're in, but I think it's a FCS. So do not bet on them. Two of the more important games, Louisville and Notre Dame. Take Notre Dame, they're minus 6.5. Louisville looks really good. 15 versus 16, top 15 matchup in the ACC, which Notre Dame has a bunch of those games against that school. And the most important game this week is, Malik, I'm going to get your opinion on this, is in the SEC. Alabama versus Georgia, number 4 versus number 2. Georgia is favored by 1.5 at Bama. Malik, what do you think?
This game is in Tuscaloosa, and I'm surprised that Georgia is favored, especially after what Georgia just did against Kentucky last week, where they did not look good, and they should have lost that game. This is the first real matchup, and we were talking about this last week when we talked about Georgia versus Kentucky. I said, who has Georgia played? Georgia ain't played nobody.
Yeah.
They went and played Kentucky, who wasn't really anybody going into that game.
You said Clemson wasn't nobody. But
they dare be a loss. But I said Clemson was nobody. You said Clemson wasn't. Whatever.
Clemson's somebody. They just had a bad game against a really good team.
I really, really, really am surprised that Alabama is getting points. I'm taking it. Look, I don't remember the last time
2007.
Alabama
I can tell you
got points in at home. Really, this was 2007.
Nick Saban's first year, literally his first year, first SEC game. 17 years.
17 years ago.
There's a kid in high school.
Last time the Alabama Crimson Tide got points at home against an opponent.
Correct. There's a senior in high school who does not remember the last time that happened.
Yeah, exactly. Meaning, like all 3 of my kids.
Correct.
Like all 3 of my children. I only had 1 kid at the time. When the last time that happened, I only had 1. I've had 2 since then. So yeah, I'm gonna take points. If you're giving me points for the Alabama Crimson Tide, I'm gonna take points. I don't know that Georgia wins this game.
Really?
And it's 2.5. Was it 2.5 or 1.5?
1.5 minus 1.5. Essentially a pick. It's like I can't imagine them winning this game by 1 point, which would be insane.
It's a pick 'em, right? I feel like it's a great game. It's a great opportunity, and Georgia's got some pretty tough games coming up after this. This is the first of I think a slew of 4 or 5 straight difficult matchups that they have coming up. And this one being on the road, I think this is one of the ones where they can get got pretty quickly. The one thing I will say is I don't think Georgia's offense has been great. Carson Beck has not been very good thus far this season. He has not been the Heisman Trophy candidate that people expected him to be.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
No, he really hasn't. If you're watching the games, he hasn't really been great.
The numbers. Okay, the numbers aren't crazy.
Yeah, the numbers aren't really great, and he hasn't really been that, that effective. So to me, this is really about Alabama and what Jaden Milroe and that offense can do to keep Georgia off the field, make Georgia and put up enough points to make Georgia have to beat them, and beat them in their defense. Definitely rolling with. I hate to say this, but I'm rolling with the Tide here. Actually, I don't mind saying this because I'm not rolling with Nick Saban. I'm perfectly fine now. I don't hate
so
the
Tide.
Okay
Now you now okay saying roll Tide?
Yeah, I will not say roll Tide. That is not
you just did. You got you.
That is not happening. I will not say that and mean it. I will not say that and mean it. But I will say that I think that it'll be a good game, and I think the Tide win this one going away. So I'll pick the Tide and I'll take those points.
All right. I'm taking Georgia. I think Jaden Milroe doesn't have the receivers to throw to as he did before. I just think Georgia's the better team, man. Like, I don't even think they got Trevor Etienne, who they got to transfer from Florida. Florida is just losing players. And yeah, they won that game, but yet somehow nobody still believes in them. Everybody still thinks their coach is going to get fired, but that's a whole other issue. I think Georgia's going to win this one. I think it's going to be a tough environment for them to play, but I think they've had so many guys that have been there since 2022 who are ready and prepared. And I just like their defense better. Like the fact that USF, University of South Florida, went into Tuscaloosa and hung with them until the fourth quarter with like 8 minutes to go. And like Ben was up by 3 points against South Florida, which is insane to me. Kirby Smart knows how to play against his team. Killing the board always wins. I just think, unfortunately, he's going to lose this game. Hopefully they don't roast him and he can win the rest of them so he can keep his job and people don't start calling calling Paul Feinbaum show, asking for this man to get fired already. I get it. It's the game of the year, basically, for them. So both of these teams are going to be in the playoffs, so they'll probably see each other again. But I'm glad, this didn't even have to happen because of conference expansion, but I'm glad we get to see this stuff like this because it's going to be a great game. Washington State at Boise State. I'm taking Washington State. They're getting 6.5 points at Boise. I want Washington State to run the table so they can get into the college football playoff because the Pac-12 left them and they're rebuilding their conference. So shout out to them. They're 4-0. They beat UW in Seattle. So that's what I'm rooting for this week. Late night game comes on at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Should be a good one. That's Ant's college team, if y'all care to know. It's the only team he knows the name of. And I'm taking Georgia, and we out. Anybody want to do some shout outs? Ant.
I want to give shout out to that dude that plays on Leverage, the black dude. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Leverage.
On Leverage.
Aldis Hodge. That was one of my shout outs. Yeah. Aldis Hodge. He's playing Alex Cross.
Yes, he's making sure that I actually keep my Amazon Prime. So because I want to see that now. So shout outs to him. Shout outs to what's the name? Daniel Jones for screwing this up. But anyway, shout outs to Sam Darnold for being the best quarterback in the league this year, right, as of right now. Shout outs to him. And I have some unfortunate news to give out here. Somebody just got fired here, and her name is Teresa Weatherspoon got fired, unfortunately. Hopefully she gets a better job, but Chicago Sky kind of sucked, and she got kind of fired as the coach, I guess. But shout outs to her.
Wow.
I didn't even have those shout outs, but
that sucks.
It kind of sucks though.
Former New York Liberty legend.
Yeah.
Everybody got hurt. They traded away her best score, but hey, you're still supposed to win somehow.
Exactly.
That's grimy. Well, shout out to my New York Liberty. They're in the playoffs. I'm rooting for them. They just finished off the Dream, who had no business being there, but you got to have 8 teams in it.
She had a dream.
They had a dream. They got the nicest uniforms in the W, but it is what it is. They still had to go. Shout out to my Bears for entertaining me another week. And shout out to the UB Bulls for getting a second win over a ranked team ever. Took down NIU 3-1 going to UConn. Hope y'all pulled this out and maybe y'all could sneak in for the group of 5 spot. We'll see. That's all my shout outs this week. And shout out to the Knicks. Well, actually, no, I'm not shouting out the Knicks just yet.
Wow.
But shout out to basketball and women's basketball. I'm focusing on the W. They're playing right now. The men ain't. So I'm focusing on them. I'm going to keep it 100. And man, shout out to apple picking, which I'll be doing on Saturday. So I'll probably be missing all of the late or a little early games. So I'm glad Bama's coming on at 7 o'clock. Yeah, Malik.
Yeah, Ant took one of mine. Huge James Patterson fan, huge Alex Cross fan. Listen to I read a lot of the books and I've listened to a bunch of the audiobooks. And one of the things that I definitely just was not crazy about was that one movie that I love the Morgan Freeman, Alex Cross, when Morgan Freeman was Alex Cross and Kissed the Girls and Along Came a Spider. And then
But you like
Tyler Perry
You didn't like
absolutely
Tyler
ruined
Perry?
it. Tyler Perry absolutely ruined the character of Alex
That was
Cross.
his best acting job ever.
Horrible. It was his best acting job.
His
It was
best
still
acting
bad.
job, but yeah.
It was still bad. Now we get a real solid actor in Aldous Hodge playing a young Alex Cross in one of my favorite books of the series, Cross. If you have not read it, go read that. It is an awesome book. Get the audio book, listen to it, whatever. But this is going to be a Prime series, so I think it's going to be great. So shout out to him for that. Shout out to the Yankees. They just clinched the AL East. And by clinching the AL East, they clinched the #1 seed in the AL playoffs. So
beat the Orioles down 10-2.
Series, beat the crap out of the Orioles. The road to the World Series, at least on the American League side, will have to go through the Bronx, which I am very happy for. And Aaron Judge hit his 5th home run in as many days. He's up to 58 home runs now. Probably still not enough time. He's only got, I think there's only 3 games left in the season. So he probably doesn't have enough time to get to 62 again or eclipse that number, get to 63. But
Can I interrupt with one more shout out?
He's giving it a good shot. He's giving it a good try.
Shout out to the Oakland Athletics who won their final home game ever. I hope all those
Nobody gives a shit about the Oakland Athletics. They're closing down the Coliseum.
I hope all those fans tear that stadium apart and take all the seats they want with them out and take it home so the owner can't tire to turn around and sell it to them.
Oakland now has no team in their city, so whatever. Shout out to them. Goodbye.
Oakland has not supported that team for years. They don't go to the games.
They shouldn't because that owner is cheap and they've been going to the games. How dare you?
They don't go to the stadium. They don't watch the games. So they
now they have nobody.
Vegas. Like, what do you want them to do? Like, honestly speaking, now the thing that I feel bad. I honestly feel bad for the players. If it was possible for you to go to a worst possible situation, I hope they play in a dome in Vegas because there's nobody. I promise you, nobody wants to go sit in to watch baseball, a baseball game in 125, 130 degree weather. Nobody's watching that.
That's baseball weather, baby.
So please,
home field advantage.
I haven't seen the stadium. I don't know where they're going to be. I don't know if they're going to be playing at the same field that the Raiders play at. Just like how they used to do.
No, they're going to be playing in Sacramento until the stadium's ready. So that's where they're going to be going. Yeah. Even worse.
All right. So they are building a stadium there for them. So
it's going to be where the Tropicana used to be. They blew up the Tropicana, if you remember that hotel. I've been there once.
I mean, shout out to the Oakland A's as an organization, just in general. Like Oakland A's back in the 80s were, if not for the Yankees, the Oakland A's were my favorite team to watch. With the Bash brothers and Ricky Henderson and Dave Henderson, that whole squad. Loved watching them back in the day. Always loved those uniforms. Didn't understand why there was an elephant, why the elephant was the mascot. Didn't make any sense to me, but whatever. It's cool. And Moneyball is probably one of my top 5 sports movies of all time too. Love that movie too. So shout out to the organization, sure, but that whole thing with the stadium, ridiculous. I remember watching an A's Yankees game this season, and I could literally probably count on 2 hands how many people were in those front rows. Like in the front
Well, if you
rows.
knew your team was leaving, would you go and buy tickets to go support them? Would you
but that's not the first season that this I watched it this season, but that's not the first season.
That's not why they're leaving. They're leaving because they want a new stadium, and the stadium that they're getting is going to be 25,000 seats smaller. They sold out today. They sold out.
They weren't drawing crowds at all at Oakland for years, a very long time. Very, very long time. But anyway,
Levon.
I got one more. I got one more.
I'll get to my last shout out.
Levon.
I wasn't done. I'll get to my last shout out. Shout out to the kid who caught Shohei Ohtani's 50th home run ball. Major League Baseball was trying to railroad you and not being able to put it up on auction, but now it's going to go up on auction and you're going to make a shit ton of money for it, which is exactly what should happen. Possession is 9/10 of the law. You caught the ball. It's your freaking ball, and you should be able to do what the hell you want with it and make whatever money you want to make on it. Shohei Ohtani is making $70 million a year. Does he need that ball? If he wants it, go buy it. Guess what? I don't care, Shohei Ohtani, that you want your 50th home run ball. We know that you got it. You're in the record books. You got $70 million. Sure, Go buy it. Go get on the auction. Get on the auction.
But they wanted to just give it to him
and buy it. They just wanted to give it to him. They just wanted to give it to him. And
they offered him $300,000.
Donate it to. Donate. They wanted to give him what was that? $100,000. $300,000. That ball is going to sell for 2.5.
You can buy it now for 4.5 million privately.
Yeah. That thing is going to sell for 2.5, and guess what? Guess who's going to probably buy it? Shohei Ohtani. And guess what? And it'll be perfectly fine. Go ahead and buy. Or you know what? It'll be Shohei Ohtani's manager who bet all that money away, and he's
in prison right now.
He's going to spend the money on that. But bottom line is, you caught the ball. There was 60, 70,000 people in the stadium. You caught the ball. It's your ball. You get to enjoy it. You get to enjoy the fruits of your labor, sir. Make your money. Go have fun. Shout out to him. The kid's name is Max Mattis. He's probably a white kid. Go enjoy it. Go enjoy it. You can make millions.
What's race got to do with this?
Wow.
No, he's probably a white kid. I just wish it was.
His name is Max.
I wish because we don't go to games. See what I'm saying? Black people, if we go to games, maybe we catch a ball. Maybe we catch a ball.
Well, it was in Miami, so I'm assuming he's Latino. So we're going to play that game.
I just got one more shout out.
What's up?
I just want to give a shout out to Derrick Rose. He's retiring today after a 16-year career.
Yes.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to Derrick Rose. That's big facts. Levon, you got anything you want to say?
He's crying in his pillow.
No. I want to shout out to Liberty. They're in the playoffs. They're moving on to the next round. And they're representing basketball in the NY while my Knicks are getting warmed up. And they're about to go up against the Aces, who bounced them the previous year. And the Liberty are like 0-5 in the finals, if they even make it that far, and they're the favorite to do so. So I want to shout out the Liberty and hope that they can bring more recognition to NY sports and get this championship in the W.
I think that the Aces played themselves into this situation.
Giant post-game stuff while y'all going on there.
Yeah, the Liberty should win this. They've been the better team. The Aces have been out of sorts, and they kind of played down. And they just been hurting. What's the name? Homegirl who wasn't playing so well in the Olympics wasn't playing well. I can't remember her name right now, but they had like 4 people on the U.S. Olympic team, which is wild to me. But that's just kind of how it goes. First game is going to be this Sunday at 3 p.m. So
it should be good. I mean,
you've already seen the Giants lose, so now you can watch the Jets win while you can flip back and forth between the Jets winning and the Liberty winning.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. No, it was a good game. They played a good game. We're the youngest team in football, I think, man. So they played like it tonight. But Daniel Jones, Jesus. I like him, but he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, they just got to stop Chelsea Gray. That's who it was, Chelsea Gray. If they can stop her, they'll be all right. And shout out to Diana Taurasi, who's probably going to Chelsea Gray. She plays for Chelsea.
What about
Vegas.
What about the MVP? They don't got to stop her.
They can't stop her. Let's keep it 100. She's gonna do what she wants.
They just let her go crazy, and they're gonna win.
She's gonna score. She's gonna score.
Levon, she scored the most points in the league. She had the most rebounds, and she had the most blocks. She's literally the best offensive and defensive player in the game. She's the best player in the planet right now.
She's not the best player for nothing.
She may be the best. She may finish her career the best player in the history in the WNBA.
You just can't. Well, I don't know.
What you have to do is
listen. We can really
everybody
talk
else but Asia.
The best
keep
player.
it 100. We're not going to go long.
We want to go way back. I don't follow it, but when the league first started, Cynthia Cooper was the most decorated player in the W.
I do follow it. And I'm saying by the end of her career,
Candace Parker
by the end of Asia's career,
and then Caitlin Clark as a rookie with
by the end of Asia's career, she will be
to the playoffs year one.
She'll have more accolades than Candace Parker.
I don't know. Well, the chick is good, but I don't know.
Back-to-back titles.
All said and done, I think Clark and Reese are the Bird and Magic of the W. And if Jordan is on the way, I don't think it's Wilson. I like
Since this is a betting show, let's start making our picks on these WNBA games.
I'm taking a liberty to make it to the finals and win.
I mean, I hope so.
This team scares the shit out of me. I love Liberty and I want the Liberty to win, but the Aces scare the living shit out of me.
I'm not gonna lie.
The champ has to scare you always.
Liberty got to win by 5. They're favored by 4.5. I bet them the first game against Atlanta Dream because Dream were pretty terrible, but I don't know how much money I'm going to put on the Liberty this Sunday. I'll tell you that right now. The Sun are playing the Lynx. The Lynx are going to smoke the Connecticut Sun. The Lynx are the second best team in the league, and they're really good. And Nafisa Collier dropped 42 on them girls. But
Sun got some players though, man.
We signing out and peace. Follow us next week. We're gonna have a show on Tuesday the next week. I haven't been doing that because of complications, but I'm gonna fix my schedule and we're gonna get that done. We out. Peace.